Well, now, beyond theories and hypotheses, let's move on to real-life stories, to testimonies. You who were close to a corpse inside a funeral parlor, what kind of supernatural signs did you experience? A transmission of thought? A bodily sensation, the temperature of the place changed. How about this woman who told us that she felt, well, that she actually saw, that she opened her eyes and the deceased person made visual contact with her? Of these stories, there are many paranormal testimonies from funerals, from wakes and experiences. There's an explanation. Wakes, by definition, are thresholds. If you think about it, it's a threshold between the world of the living and the world of the dead. If we look at what parapsychology says, mixing in a bit of occultism and folklore, the stories that are told, there are several hypotheses that are truly fascinating about what happens energetically during that ceremony, because there's no doubt that there's a very strange energy at funerals. There's a theory called the slow detachment theory. This hypothesis is often used in esotericism. It suggests that the separation between the physical body and the spiritual body is instantaneous. At the moment of clinical death, is there a silver cord? It is believed that the spirit remains connected to the physical body for a while, 3 days, 72 hours, by an energetic connection. Then there's the hypothesis of the silent witness. We're all at the wake, at the funeral, and we sense that there's someone else there with us. In some cases, they see him. Not the relatives of the deceased, but people who didn't know him see him, the silent witness. The hypothesis is that the deceased is present at their own wake. They can see and hear the mourners. They are in a state of confusion, of dreaming, not fully understanding that they have died until they see their own body in the coffin. The wake, a funeral, is a storm of human emotions. There is crying, there is anguish, there is guilt, there is fear. Some occultist schools suggest that this massive release of emotional energy is of low vibration. Listen closely, because all of this, crying, anguish, guilt, fear, all of this is low vibration. It acts as a kind of magnet for non-human entities, that is, astral parasites that feed on that pain. That's why the feeling of heavy air, of extreme exhaustion that people feel at a wake isn't just sadness. You actually lose real energy because of these entities. Afterwards, there are certainly biological phenomena that are often confused with paranormal phenomena. For example, a true scientist, a researcher, the first thing he does is rule out the biological, even though the biological is sometimes the most terrifying. For example, the Lazarus sign is called, I don't know if you've ever heard of it. Do you remember Lazarus? Get up and walk, no? Well, they are reflex movements that can occur in the body, like raising an arm or even sitting up at a wake. Many people think that the person is alive, or even that they are possessed. Do corpses make sounds? The release of gases through the vocal cords can produce moans or sighs that terrify those present. But how far is there a portal that opens? There is a deeply rooted belief, especially in Judaism and in Victorian traditions, that mirrors should be covered during a wake. You'll see that there are no mirrors at the wake. The paranormal hypothesis is that with the veil open between the world of the living and the dead, a mirror becomes a portal through which the spirit could get trapped, or through which other entities could enter our plane. There's more. We're talking about wakes and paranormal phenomena. The tradition of opening the windows at the moment of death or during the wake responds to these hypotheses. The soul needs a physical exit so it doesn't remain attached to the place. In the modern era, wakes are a focal point for electronic voice phenomenon for instrumental communication. Many people report their camera or cell phone battery dies when they attend the wake. Hey, but it was at 100% and now, well, the spirit is present. It takes that electromagnetic energy to try to manifest itself. This is really crazy, but there are people who take photos at wakes. I'm not talking about forensics, I'm talking about regular people who want to photograph the corpse. Has that ever happened to you? Have you ever seen someone take a photo of a corpse? It's disturbing for us, but some people do it. Well, they do it precisely to try to capture the spirit of the deceased. They are people who deal with energies. Maybe it's a relative of yours, a friend. Would you have ever suspected that this person is involved in occultism, for example, or in spiritualism? And just like that now, in the age of cell phones, it's much easier. When people are distracted, they take out their phone and take a picture of the corpse so they can work with that photo later. It's a lot, yes, it happens. There are also many cases reported where, despite the natural decomposition of the body or the chemicals used in embalming, the environment is filled with the scent of roses or jasmines. That's when they talk about a peaceful transition to the other plane. On the other hand, if there's a sudden nauseating smell that doesn't come from the body, it's associated with negative presences. They're taking advantage of the energy of death to get closer. Wakes and paranormal phenomena. To sum up, there are residual energies. The environment generates a residual energy of pain. There are intelligent energies. The deceased actively interacted with us. I don't know, he threw the flower wreath, touched someone. And there are biological or psychological phenomena like cadaveric spasms that can be confused with a paranormal phenomenon. Wakes and paranormal phenomena. Have you ever experienced a story firsthand? Please tell us 11 27 84 1073. And also in the YouTube comments. If you're following this show on YouTube and want to leave your comments, your stories, please, I want to read them. Paranormal wakes on the paranormal night.